What was the other thing I'm gonna say?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Retired Renovators, the YouTube channel where my husband and I talk about how we're restoring our 1904 big brick house and carriage house in Paducah, Kentucky. So we've just about finished the carriage house and wanted to talk to you today about some things we discovered when installing the kitchen backsplash. First of all, there are a number of things that people will talk about a lot in YouTube channels about how to install kitchen backsplash and tile in general. And I wanted to go over three things that I've seen a number of times that I think might be helpful for beginner tilers. And the first is you have to understand that different tile is hard to easy to work with. And I think by far the easiest tile to work with is ceramic tile. So if you're unsure of your tiling skills, I would recommend going with ceramic tile. We've worked with glass, we've worked with porcelain, we've worked with natural stone, and so we've cut all of those, and ceramic tile is the easiest to cut with a wet saw. I would recommend for a kitchen backsplash to use both pre-mixed mortar and pre-mixed grout. And the reason why is you're not making up very much of it, and it's a little bit of a pain to mix up, and so why not use a pre-mixed? There's a lot on the market that work really, really well. You can't use pre-mixed, as far as I know, for large format tile, but for tile up to 12 to maybe 16 inches, the longest side, subway tile, that kind of thing, pre-mixed works fine. And so we got this pretty fancy grout, and I've seen other YouTube people talk about this grout. It's CQ something or other, both pros and cons of grout. But what you need to understand is these grouts dry really, really quickly, so you have to work in small batches and you have to be careful about your applications. So read the directions and see if you think you're going to be able to work within that realm. So those are the three things that I think other YouTubers talk a lot about when installing tile, and so I wanted to mention those again. But there are three things that I haven't seen many, if any, YouTube videos on that I think are extremely helpful when installing kitchen backsplash tile. And so I want to talk about those now, but before I do, let me encourage you to subscribe to this channel. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, it means a lot to us. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button. Fantastic if you hit the little notification bell. But the main thing is if you would subscribe to the channel, that helps tell YouTube with their algorithms that people want to look at the content. So appreciate it if you would do that. Now, on to the three things that I have not seen people talk about when installing kitchen backsplash tile. The first is to use a laser level for your first row. And Gary's going to talk about this and show you how he did it. So here's Gary.
So we're getting ready to do the backsplash tile here, and there's always a little bit of variation in what's level on the countertop. And I've set up this laser to mark where the top of the tile should be as we work our way around the room. And what I wanted to make sure was that the tile would fit under the line there. And then as I go around the room, there's always room for the tile below the line. Okay, we're good there. Still below. And as we get over to here, we see that it's getting very close. The tile is very close to the laser line, but it does fit underneath. So the counter on this side is slightly higher than what's over there. But if we follow this laser line around and put the top of the tile on that line all the way around, it'll be perfectly level. And then we'll have a nice straight backsplash tile pattern. Then the other thing we have to figure out is how we do the corner. And what we want to do is in the corner have the rows like this or half tiles meeting. We're doing a running bond pattern where it's half overlapped. So what we don't want is to have, say, a big piece of tile coming in this way, and then around the corner it's just a half piece long like that. So we want full to full or half to half meeting in the corner. And the other slight difficulty there is that the tile does have thickness. So if you slide the tile all the way to the corner, it's effectively pushing the next tile over because of that thickness like that. So we plan to put it in so that the corners are just touching. Using our grout spacing of 1/16 of an inch, we'll put these inside corners so that they're just 1/16 of an inch apart and not overlap them, so it won't mess up our spacing.
All right, the last two things that I haven't seen anyone talk about on YouTube when installing ceramic tile is first, when you're using these grout sponges, you'll see people talking about having lots of buckets and lots of sponges and all of that kind of thing. I found it's really helpful if you cut the sponges in half or even in thirds, so you have smaller sponges. The key is when you're wiping the grout away, you want to have surfaces on the sponge that haven't been touched by the grout, and so you get more surface area by getting the extra sides and so on. But it's also a lot easier to handle these smaller sponges, especially for the backsplash. So it's a simple thing. I did it for the first time with the kitchen tile here, and it was amazing. So cut your sponges in half and you'll see it's a whole lot easier to work with. And the second is to take a bath towel, an old bath towel, and cut it up into sizable squares and use those for your final rinsing and drying. This is before you're waiting for while you're waiting for your grout to set. So after you're done with your sponges, dampen a piece of towel, wipe down your tile, take a piece of towel and tile, that sounds the same. Wipe down your tile with your towel and damp, and then take a dry one and wipe it down, and then just throw those little scraps away because they'll have grout residue until you go on to your next section. So you have to work quickly, you have to work in small batches since the grout is drying so quickly. But the small sponge and the cutting the towel sounds like a really simple thing, but it's amazing. So, so you can watch me do that right now.